olam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של חנוכה. ברוך אתה יא אלוהינו רוח העולם שעשה ניסים לאבותינו ואימותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה. Let the flame be kindled within me. Let your love burn bright. I hunger for your light. I hunger for your light. Let the flame be kindled within me. Let your love burn bright. I hunger for your light. I hunger for your So on this last night of Hanukkah, let's first take a look at the light in each other's faces.
And other Hanukkah.
And other, yes. That we can open to that light and also shine your lights.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Very warm, open, loving, radiant faces.
So this, this last night of Hanukkah, it's like so much light. It's so much light. It's like really taking that light in, and also, burning away what we don't need from this past year. That's what this fire can do. And it's the fire also of rededication, of getting clear about, this is what my life is about. This is where I want to bring myself, my energy. This is where I'm called. So I thought it was very cool that the chant from Love at the Center, the chant of the week, because we're going through the Song of Songs, sort of line by line, and the line that we're up to in this for this week, as the light grows into this conflagration here, is the line that says, he brought me to the tavern, and his banner over me was love. And so, you always talk about like that mystical poetry from all different traditions has this in common, this sense, literally the house of wine, that we are come to, but it's not the ordinary wine you drink. It's a different kind of wine, and it's the divine flow that raises our consciousness. So sometimes when I teach this line from the Song of Songs, somebody says to me, well, that kind of sounds like Rumi, doesn't it? And I say, well,
as a matter of fact,
Rumi was like a couple thousand years after this, so we can't say that the Song of Songs is copying Rumi, but they all went to the same tavern, because that's a timeless and placeless place is the tavern, and the tavern is kind of a place where you lose yourself. You lose your small self so that you can find your big self. But I thought that since Rumi is there also in this tavern, I wanted to bring you a few words of Rumi's to help us in our practice as we chant this. Because Rumi says, gratitude is the wine for the soul. Go on, get drunk. Gratitude is the wine for the soul. Go on, get drunk. That's what he says. So that's the kind of drunkenness we're looking for. And I'm thinking that God-intoxication is the one kind of intoxication we don't have a hangover from. I think it infuses us, and we need some of that energy every single day of our lives in order to lift us up into a wider perspective and soften some of the boundaries that we set up and some of the definitions of self that might be constricting. I also found this line from Rumi that said, dance until you shatter yourself. Wow. I thought that was kind of amazing. Dance until you shatter yourself. I mean, what else are you going to do in that tavern there? And with that energy of intoxication. And the shattering of self is what allows us to come into the truth of the divinity that is locked up within us. So when we say Haviyani el Beta Yayin, we're saying that we're getting taken into that place. Our practice is leading us to this tavern, to this place where we forget so that we can remember. We forget sort of the superficial in order to remember into the depths. And then it says the glow alai ahava. And I think of that degel, that banner over us, as being one that's saying, it's almost God saying to me, you're mine, you are mine, I got you. And it's a kind of a permission, it's a letting go place. It's saying that I have been claimed by this spirit of love. And so I always begin this chant by looking around and saying, you want to go? Do you want to go?
Oh, yeah.
I know he does. He always wants to go. So let's see. So the going to this tavern means kind of letting go and opening, and surrendering. Let's go. So bring your attention to the breath and imagine breathing in as we drink in the life force. Ecstasy is the place of full aliveness, so that every cell in our body is filled with the kind of a magic. And with the eyes of our heart, we can look around the tavern and find Rumi and every other mystic that's ever lived there in the tavern with us.
Yeah.
Drinking in.
Very good company.
And dancing until you shatter yourself. So...
That was fun. God intoxication is fun, above all.
Is fun. And so some people say, well, it's just getting high, or it's addictive or whatever. And I want to say it's the medicine that keeps us from places of addiction, because there is a hunger that we all have. And at its core, it's a hunger for God, but we try to fill that with everything else, and it doesn't work often. And so if we try to fill it with drink or food or drugs, we keep filling and filling, and we never get filled. And when we fill it and we fill ourselves with God, it's like we become who we were meant to be, and then we don't need to overdo anything else because we're kind of have that fullness from the inside. So Rumi says, I learned that every mortal will taste death, but only some will taste life.
Oh, that's good, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Don't you want to be that one
Yeah.
who tastes life? And the real taste of life is so intoxicating. So when we get to that tavern, what we are filling ourselves with is I call it the river of bliss. And it is a river that is flowing from Eden, flowing from the source of all delight. And so Psalm 36 says, "V'nachal adanecha tashkim." So from the river of your bliss, of your Eden, of your delight, tashkim, you will give them drink. So that's the promise. If we go to the tavern, this is what we get to drink that. And it says, for with you, for in this place of flowing waters, that's the source of life. That's what I want to connect myself to. And then it has this line that I love for Hanukkah to be able to sing: "In your light, we see light." So the first light, in your light, is the light of consciousness itself. In the light of consciousness, we get to see light, and we get to see light everywhere. And without that light of consciousness, we can't see the light. We can't find it. We can't bring it through. So there's just so much in this. So we want to fill ourselves up with this river of bliss, and and then and then not only fill ourselves up, but to connect ourselves to the source of that, so that it's always there for us, and connect ourselves. And when we connect ourselves with that source, we are opening up to the light of awareness, of consciousness, and in that light, we're going to see light. So I'm praying that this light of Hanukkah that we have been igniting these past 7 days is going to get inside us, is going to connect us. It's going to awaken consciousness, awaken this awareness in us, so that we can find that light everywhere. One other little comment from Rumi, who wants to be here in this session. He says, I've been looking for a long, long time for this thing called love. I've ridden comets across the sky, and I've looked below and above. Then one day I looked inside myself, and this is what I found: a golden sun residing there, beaming forth God's light and sound. So I always feel like the light of consciousness is what we want to take in from these lights, and let it kind of light up that radiant sun at our center. I forgot to tell you, I'm going to mix up the genders here in this next line.
V'nacha adanecha tashkim. V'nacha adanecha tashkim. V'nacha adanecha tashkim. V'nacha adanecha tashkim. Kimcha lekol chayim ve'oreim nireyot. For with you is the source of life. In your light we see light.
Once more.
V'nacha adanecha tashkim. V'nacha adanecha tashkim. V'nacha adanecha tashkim. V'nacha adanecha tashkim. Kimcha lekol chayim ve'oreim nireyot. For with you is the source of life. In your light we see light.
Let's take a couple minutes with our eyes closed to see the lights, to look inside, see the light that has been kindled by our Hanukkah time. Finding inside the darkest place within you that spark of the divine. So the holy temple that is being rededicated is inside us, and it's so close that we miss it. So Rumi has this line that says, I am so close, I may look distant. So completely mixed with you, I may look separate. So out in the open, I appear hidden. So silent, because I am constantly talking with you. So this place in me that misses it is because I get distracted with what's out there. And so I constantly distracted, and then I have to keep coming back. And the chant, the practice that I do of bringing that sacred phrase into my body and letting it resonate is like opening a pathway back to that place. And one more line from Rumi to inspire us in our next practice. He says, "Friend, our closeness is this. Anywhere you put your foot, feel me in the firmness under you." Anywhere you put your foot, feel me in the firmness under you. So we want to establish that sense of presence beneath us, because then we can go. We can do that dance, that shattering self dance. We can do it because of that. And it's another name of God that is so special is Tsur, or Tsurim, my rock. That's the firmness beneath our feet. That's our foundation. So I wanted to do this practice this last night of Hanukkah that I call accessing the highest. And it says Va'azemra, which it means I will sing, I will chant praise. Shem Havaya Elyon. And I translate this as I will sing praise so that I may know the highest essence of divine existence. I sing, that's why I'm doing this. I'm singing this kind of place of devotion that allows me to sing is what allows me to know this, to know the highest within me, the finest, another word somebody suggested, it was Wendy suggested for intoxication was rapture. And each of us need those moments of rapture that ignite that divine spark in us. And it's really about knowing or becoming realized, knowing who we really are. And it is essential, because otherwise we get lost. We get lost in the world, get lost in the, in the politics and the craziness and and then we're no good to anybody when we're lost. We're not accessing the highest. So we want to access that highest and then put it to good use in whatever realm that we live in.
Yeah.
So I think there was one other thing. Oh yeah, no, that was good. Okay. So accessing the highest. So again, when I chant, there's both an outward and an inward focus. Because really what I'm doing is I'm kind of turning myself inside out. I'm using the sound out here to resonate something inside that can awaken and be my access points.
Shem Havaya Elyon Ba'azamra Shem Havaya Elyon Ba'azamra Shem Havaya Elyon Shem Havaya Elyon Vazamra 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 Shem Havaya Vazamra Shem Havaya Elyon 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 Vazamra Shem Havaya Vazamra Shem Havaya Elyon 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 Vazamra Shem Havaya Elyon
So with this place of intoxication, of God intoxication, you can't think your way there. You can't get there through the head. And that's why, our ancestors, the way that they worshipped was to bow. There was a lot of bowing that our ancestors did. And it was kind of a way to get the head lower than the heart, and to
Closer
sort of
to the earth.
closer to the earth, and sort of like take your head and sort of pour out everything out of your head, so that you can kind of clear a space and enter into both an embodied sense and also this great kind of heart space. And when after I kind of grew up Jewish, and I went off on a spiritual search to find lots of kind of amazing things in other traditions, and really kind of found that intoxication, that God intoxication in Sufism. And I was actually sent by my Sufi teacher to be a rabbi, to come back into my tradition, and I came back and I said, I can't live without this God intoxication. It seemed like when I stepped into the synagogue, it was like, I was welcome from the head up. And I didn't really know what to do about that. It was so much. There's this line that I keep reading above from Joel Goldsmith that says, "Prayer is the preparation of consciousness for the God experience." Prayer is the preparation of consciousness for the God experience. And if it's not that, kind of like, who needs it?
Really?
It's one thing to, when I study, I certainly, engage all of my thought processes and critical mind, all of that. But then when it comes to prayer, I want to, go beyond that and use the words to prepare my consciousness for the God experience. And it's the God experience that's going to feed me, sustain me, connect me. And I have to kind of transcend some of those, kind of the rational in order to do that. And even kind of risk looking like I'm the holy fool, because that's kind of what it looks like when you're in that kind of love madness. So there are a lot of references in the Psalms to this idea, which I actually thought was like a Buddhist idea of taking refuge in the Buddha and the Dharma and the Sangha. But really in Judaism, there is this idea of taking refuge in God, which is a way of giving ourselves totally to the God experience. And when that happens, when we do that, when we let go of the illusion of control, and we go to the tavern, then there's a sense of grace that is flowing. So that's what this practice says. It says, you pour out your grace to me. I feel your presence moving through me when I take refuge in you. When I do that inner gesture of surrender, of giving myself totally to the God experience. So I wanted to do this as our final practice of the evening. And this word chaneni, it's as you say it, just like open up and feel like, oh, is there something that wants to flow through me? Can I show up fully to both be a receiver and transmitter of that grace?
Haneni Elohim, Haneni, Haneni Elohim, Haneni, Haneni Elohim, Haneni, Haneni Elohim, Haneni, O ki b'cha Chasaya nafshi, ki l'cha, chasaya nafshi, oh ki l'cha, chasaya nafshi, ki l'cha, chasaya nafshi, Haneni Elohim, Haneni, Haneni Elohim, Haneni, Haneni Elohim, Haneni, Haneni Elohim, Haneni, oh ki l'cha, chasaya nafshi, ki l'cha, chasaya nafshi, oh ki l'cha, chasaya nafshi, ki l'cha, chasaya nafshi, Haneni Elohim, Haneni, Haneni Elohim, Haneni, Haneni Elohim, Haneni, Haneni Elohim, Haneni, oh ki l'cha, chasaya nafshi, ki l'cha, chasaya nafshi, oh ki l'cha, chasaya nafshi, ki l'cha, chasaya nafshi, Haneni Elohim, Haneni, Haneni Elohim, Haneni, Haneni Elohim, Haneni, Haneni Elohim, Haneni, oh ki l'cha, chasaya nafshi, ki l'cha, chasaya nafshi, oh ki l'cha, chasaya nafshi, ki l'cha, chasaya nafshi, Haneni Elohim, Haneni, Haneni Elohim, Haneni, Haneni Elohim, Haneni, Haneni Elohim, Haneni, oh ki l'cha, chasaya nafshi, ki l'cha, chasaya nafshi, oh ki l'cha, chasaya nafshi, ki l'cha, chasaya nafshi, Haneni Elohim, Haneni, Haneni Elohim, Haneni, Haneni Elohim, Haneni, Haneni Elohim, Haneni, oh ki l'cha, chasaya nafshi, ki l'cha, chasaya nafshi, oh ki l'cha, chasaya nafshi, Haneni Elohim, Haneni, Haneni Elohim, Haneni. Oh, ki v'cha chasaya nafshi, ki v'cha chasaya nafshi. Oh, ki v'cha chasaya nafshi, ki v'cha chasaya nafshi.
So when we take that journey into that God center, Rumi says, stay in the spiritual fire. Let it cook you. Stay in the spiritual fire. Let it cook you. And what we need to do in our practice, he instructs us. He says, come out of the circle of time and into the circle of love. So I hope that's what these KZOOMs are, coming out of the circle of time, coming into the circle of love that is between us, among us. And,
Yes.
yes.
It's happening. I feel it. I feel it. I will testify.
So just to take a look inside now, just to see what has touched you in this past hour. And I want to also to say, please go to my website and press the donate button and just give something in honor of what you received, other what's coming through. Because that's how we're sustaining ourselves. And if everybody gives a little bit, and we can keep doing this. And we really appreciate it. And we're going to take just 10 minutes, because it's really important for those who want to stay, and just have a 10-minute time of checking in, reflection on your practice. For those who are leaving, I will hope to see you next week. And those who are staying,